everyone. There's nothing better than being reminded of an incredibly dead meme that makes you feel like an old, decrepit man. And today, I felt that deep down in my core when I reacted to a video of the history of Bhad Bhabie and how far she's come. Which I'm sure most of you know from her iconic catchphrase, which to be honest, I won't even say it because I can't do it in the same whimsical way she can. Which doesn't matter, because if any of you remember her, you definitely have those famous words burned into the very back of your mind. And she's really good at that, being able to make something have a lasting impact, because unlike other people the same caliber as her, she was actually able to extend her short amount of fame into a pretty long and worthy career. I'm not gonna say that these methods were the most respectable, and you can probably already guess what they are, but she was always making new stuff to stay relevant and not make people lose focus on her. And today, you're going to see how she achieved that by simply doing moronic stuff.
Danielle Bregoli was the laughingstock of the internet for years after her appearance on the Dr. Phil show. Her presumptuous attitude, attention-seeking tactics, and accused appropriation of black culture just made people despise her, but it also got her filthy rich. Danielle's career was literally handed to her, but unlike most people who get 15 minutes of fame, she turned it into an empire. This girl was a child when her worst moments were being broadcasted to the entire world. Today, she has transformed into someone we barely even recognize.
Is she pregnant?
Oh
my gosh, I had a kid.
On September 14th, 2016, Dr. Phil aired the 8th episode of its 15th season, which featured a 13-year-old girl from Florida named Danielle Bregoli.
You have to respect how big of a show Dr. Phil is when they have the right to call an episode, "I want to give up my car-stealing, knife-wielding, twerking 13-year-old daughter who tried to frame me for a crime." That's a good lyric in a rap video.
Named Danielle Bregoli. Danielle was seemingly a typical teenager whose rebellious and delinquent behavior reached a point where her mother could not control her. Knife wielding, skipping school, and stealing.
If it's in Florida, don't you have every right to just put a bullet in her?
A crew member's car while the episode was being filmed. Despite Danielle's obvious pitfalls, people were also pointing the finger at her mother. "Mom, my daughter is so out of control and provocative. Also, Mom allows daughter to install a stripper pole in her bedroom." But the biggest problem her mother had was Danielle's love for violence. She liked to fight. It's important to note that the show producers encouraged Danielle to be as rambunctious as she could on camera, because it's more entertaining. At one point, Danielle even challenged her own mother to a fight on the set, but she also challenged anyone else in the audience.
And then Joe Rogan and Dr. Phil started commentating on the fight.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Nobody wanted to go the rounds with
There
Danielle.
were small moments of history that God plans in every day.
Change her life forever. Her manufactured black scent that she claims is due to her being from the streets made the phrase "catch me outside, how about that" sound like "catch me outside, how about that." And I don't think I've ever seen something
when he says it doesn't capture the same kind of magic.
Maybe even your grandparents know about this iconic catchphrase. She became a social media sensation known as the "Cash Me Outside girl." Danielle was used by boomers as confirmation bias to prove that Gen Z is a bunch of entitled brats. But even Gen Z was laughing at her because they knew she was their generation's jester. It was like this perfect moment where all generations, all walks of life came together to agree that the "Cash Me Outside girl" was a joke. The Dr. Phil YouTube channel gained 8 million views in 1 month from the clip of Danielle's episode. To this day, the channel has accumulated.
Of course, Dr. Phil can milk a 13-year-old girl for that many views.
Danielle's appearances on the show. But the crazy part is, Danielle didn't even know she was the laughingstock of the internet at the time. Dr. Phil had Danielle transported to the Turnabout Ranch after her episode. Turnabout Ranch is neither owned nor operated by Dr. Phil, but is an independent residential treatment center for troubled youth located in Utah. The ranch is a therapeutic program that aims to help teenagers and young adults dealing with behavioral and emotional issues. Danielle didn't get to...
Okay, I can tell already from that kind of sign and the name. Turnabout Ranch, where we fix your kids. Like, that feels like it only exists to be part of like an episode where like she was a troubled kid, but now we send her to Turnabout Camp or whatever it's called, and now she's fixed. Even though in reality they probably do nothing but yell at them every day, but they want to create this illusion that they actually help the people. This just reminds me of like the British equivalent of Dr. Phil, Jeremy Kyle, except it was way worse. Where he really tried to make it seem like he was a good person helping these people after he yelled at them, but then yeah, off camera, he really cannot care any less about the people that he probably saw as freaks and from his own point of view.
Wave of clout since she didn't have access to social media or a cell phone while in Utah. After she returned home, she opened social media and was shocked.
At first I didn't know how to handle it. I was just like, my instinct was to like cuss everyone
I
out.
really want to say that
Since her
she's gonna
Dr. Phil
age
episode
horribly
was
if she's
the most
13 and
successful
she looks like
episode of all
that.
time, it only made
Like she
sense
looks
for
like
his
way more than
producers to bring her
13.
back on the show. In February of 2017, just 4 months after her original appearance, she returned to Dr. Phil to a studio without an audience where they discussed her time at Turnabout Ranch. She said her time there was fine before expressing that she was happy that she went. We would later find out that she was lying, and her
I'll tell the camera that you enjoyed your experience. Don't say anything bad about it.
admitting. She also said that Dr. Phil was nothing before she came on the show, which prompted even more people to continue making memes about the bratty child. The memes prompted hip-hop producer DJ Suede, the remix god, to make a song sampling her infamous catchphrase. Suede's trap beat titled Catch Me Outside sits at over 60 million views on YouTube, but we realized the true power of the meme when this song peaked at number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100. A meme
It
trap
probably
beat
still like
spent 3
sucks
weeks
ass
on the
if
Billboard
that's
Hot 100.
the hook you use.
2017 was wild. Danielle and her mother, Barbara, sued DJ Suede over unpaid royalties for the remix. Barbara alleged that the DJ and his manager exploited her daughter after they agreed to let them
Bentley?
use her voice and
God
popular
damn.
catchphrase on the record. According to legal documents obtained by TMZ, Danielle accepted a deal where she would get half of the remix profits. However, Barbara alleged that DJ Suede refused to pay them their royalties. Suede responded to the lawsuit saying, "My team and lawyer already read y'all the contract several times for months, and we have everything on paper. How about that?" He added, shaking my head.
It
15 minutes
it doesn't
on my
work when someone else
fast
tries to like
song.
replicate it by
Ironically,
saying
was
it.
actually DJ Suede, whose 15 minutes of fame that he got from Danielle was over, because the world was about to be introduced to Bad Baby, whose fame was about to last a whole lot longer than 15 minutes. In January of 2017, music manager Adam Kluger heard Catch Me Outside on the radio and knew she could be a star. He reached out and arranged an appointment with Danielle and her mother. "I said, I want to manage you. Give me some time. I'll make you a star. I'll make you guys rich. We want to make this thing happen."
I would never trust a guy that says, "I'll make you a star."
Done. They had no clue what that meant. Holger wanted to take advantage of Danielle's bad girl persona and take this villain, relentless, crazy attitude.
Thank God he censored the middle finger, but he kept the thumbnail right there.
persona
God
and
bless.
take this villain, relentless, crazy attitude kid and just brand her as this supervillain. She's going to be the one that the kids have to hide from their parents. Wanting to find a way to turn followers into money, Adam solicited the help of Dan Roof, the founder of a digital firm named Flute. Dan came on board as Danielle's digital manager, booking live appearances and setting up sponsorship deals. The same week Danielle reappeared on Dr. Phil, she starred in Kodak Black's music video for Everything 1K. This video was literally just Kodak's song with Danielle flexing cash, wearing grills, and sitting on a Rolls Royce while
she had
mouthing
grills?
Kodak's lyrics,
Oh, God.
which prompted the video to gain almost 50 million views. On her trip home from LA, Danielle boarded a Spirit Airlines flight where she and her mother
Oh,
got
please say
into
the
a
N word.
fight
Please
with
tell me.
passengers.
Please tell me she said the N word.
Come catch me outside, nigga. What's up?
I like the guy at the back. Shut the f up.
But as
God,
other camera
but-
angles were released, it seemed like the passenger was potentially the aggressor and Danielle was just defending her mom.
Yo, you're not gonna take no with the F.
She's a good person. God damn.
Black people. You don't know nothing.
Danielle and her friends got into another fight with random people one Saturday night in Lake Worth, Florida.
I love how you can always tell like a clip's gonna be nothing when it's branded by that god awful TMZ logo.
Then in April, she was cited for possession of marijuana in Boynton Beach. The 14-year-old was unsupervised, out of control, and on top of that being ridiculed by random people on the streets. It was a recipe for disaster. It also became increasingly obvious that her mother was no longer interested in helping Danielle once she realized she could make money from her daughter's delinquency. But despite her
Oh,
bad
'cause she
behavior,
knew that.
was
She
cultivating
served
a real
anyways.
fan base through YouTube, where she uploaded consistent reaction videos showcasing more of her brazen personality that were generating over 1 million views per video.
If you had a child and a hoe tried you in front of them, what would you do? I would go to my car, turn on my car, put the air on in the car, strap my kid into their seat, and go beat them.
I saw it said shad, not strap.
Her manager also knew that she had some rapping ability. And let's be honest, in 2017, at the height of the Lil Pump and Lil Xan era, you didn't need much skill. Plus, influencers like Rice Gum and Jake Paul were gaining unimaginable view counts on their terrible music. Colger proceeded to book studio time for Danielle,
You know,
but she was hesitant at first.
That is true. Back in 2017, like basically anyone with not even a modicum of talent, anyone that can speak in front of a microphone can be famous. But that's probably like one aspect of the internet that's never gonna die out. out, because no matter, there will always be a trend that allows people that come from nowhere to become popular. It's hard for me to say right now what that trend is, but within just like 5 years, I believe we should look back and say, oh yeah, X was the biggest thing at the time that got anyone famous. So I think it goes way more back than 2017, where rapping got you famous. But I can see what he means, because yeah, if she didn't take the opportunity of just making music, then she wouldn't be following the success that she got from this huge moment.
I don't want to get in this booth. But then she had a change of heart. I was like, I'm prettier than all these people in here. I looked at the people in the room and I was like, I'm better than you. I can do this. I'll be fine. I won't look stupid. Soon she was in a meeting opposite Atan Ben-Horon, the global head of artists and repertoire at Warner Music Group. Ben put together a team of 14 writers and producers to work on Danielle's first professional single, High Bid. They started her music rollout with a track called These Hoes, which peaked at number 77 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, making Danielle the youngest female rap artist to debut on the Hot 100. It also made Baby the third youngest solo artist of all time to chart on the Hot 100, behind JoJo.
So by definition, she made history.
Danielle signing a record deal with Atlantic Records. She then remixed Kodak Black's Roll in Peace and T Grizzly and Lil Yachty's From D to the A. But even her biggest haters could not deny her second.
No, that's nothing. If you remix a song, then it's not yours. Come on.
While the music video accumulated over 200 million views since its initial upload. The song was eventually certified platinum less than 5 months later. Most people on the internet were calling her music trash, but the numbers didn't lie. Plus, she wasn't afraid of criticism.
She's low-key smart, okay? I'm not gonna say she's smart because she's a bitch.
I'm a little I'm a bitch, but you're the one sitting in the busted ass chair with your busted ass forehead, with your busted ass face, and your busted.
Whoa.
So why are you coming for
Calm
me?
down,
Rappers
girl.
like Lil Yachty voiced their support for her career.
You know what? In her defense, it does feel weird. Like, no matter how young she is, she's still a kid, so it does feel weird for everyone online to make a video like just hating on her. Where back then, when they were that age, they probably would take the same actions to make money out of it.
Gucci flip-flops, that peaked at number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100 before receiving a platinum certification. Her string of success led to Bad Baby receiving a nomination at the 2018 Billboard Music Awards for Best Female Rap Artist, alongside Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Over the next few months, Baby collaborated with artists like Ty Dolla $ign, YG, Lil Baby, City Girls, Charlie XCX, and Asian Doll. She announced her Band in the USA tour across North America and Europe, where she sold out various 150 to 500 person venues in nearly every city she visited. But whenever she had some positive momentum, she would revert back to her old self. In peak 2018 tomfoolery, Bad Baby runs into her arch nemesis Woah Vicky, accompanied by the infamous Lil Tay for a good old-fashioned scrap. But all we got was high-pitched screaming and standing behind grown men, pretending like they actually wanted to.
It's a real man that maintained the peace in this world.
Hit me. Hit me. If you hit me, I'll hit me. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Dude, that guy, hold on. Please switch the angle.
So about it.
That guy in the black t-shirt, he knows he's getting paid way too much money for this bullshit.
Hit me. You're so about it. You're so big and bad.
This was huge news at the time, but this would not be their final battle. Danielle announced a 6-month deal with Copycat Beauty, getting paid $900,000 to promote the brand's products on her social media and music videos. She then signed a 12-episode deal for a reality show called Bringing Up Baby. The show premiered in February of 2019 on Snapchat as one of their many Snap originals. The first episode showcased her life behind the scenes and the hurdles she encountered amid her rise in the industry. This show reportedly earned over.
What trouble? You became famous in like 2 weeks. What troubles did you experience?
Keeping Up with the Kardashians was only getting 1.5 million views per episode. TMZ reported that Danielle made well over $10 million during 2019 due to her reality show. And although many still saw Danielle as the snobby kid from Dr. Phil capitalizing on her 5 seconds of fame, the fanbase she gained was undeniable. Maybe her fans saw her as a troubled teen who was misunderstood and taken advantage of as a child. Maybe they didn't see someone desperate for attention and rather someone who was unapologetically themselves. But there was no denying that she was still a loudmouth kid who always managed to find her way into trouble. At Cardi B's Fashion Nova launch party, Danielle decided to throw a drink of water on Iggy Azalea. Iggy seemingly had no idea what happened, nor did she really seem to care. It looked like Danielle pre-planned the attack while hiding behind her bodyguards and trying to make a spectacle. But Iggy...
Yeah, just stand right there in case he pulls out a gun, please.
Talking crazy about her on Instagram. She was referring to a Shade Room Instagram post that asked, "Who is going to see Bad Baby on tour?" And Iggy commented, "Are you?" Iggy responded to the incident.
I get that this little girl has made a name for herself acting a damn fool on television and online. But I'm a grown up. I'm not about to waste my energy on that shit or be fighting a kid in a club.
Azalea
I'm not gonna waste energy on that shit. Let me record this video in a car, talking back to her.
an adult, just making Danielle look even more childish and immature. Danielle also had a habit of making drama about her when nobody was directing hate towards her in the first place. In an interview with People, Jermaine Dupri, legendary songwriter and record producer, expressed his disappointment with the female rap game. They all rapping about the same thing. I don't think they're
Did I say
showing
it's like
who's the
strippers
best rapper.
rapping?
For me, it's like
I'm pretty sure she was still like a
Triggered
kid by
responses
this
from several
time.
women in the industry. Baby specifically replied, Jermaine Dupri can suck my been like 10 years since Bow Wow. Sit down, Grandpa. Since Danielle was on top of the game, she was able to
Bart
run her
Simpson.
mouth. She wasn't topping the charts, but her music videos and songs were still accumulating tens of millions of YouTube views. And she was consistently collaborating with every major industry rapper. But she was burning bridges with people who might be able to help her once her hype dies down. And as we approached 2020, people were getting really tired of Bad Baby. But they did enjoy seeing her get beat up by her biggest op, Woah Vicky. A brawl between Danielle and Woah Vicky occurred during a recording session in Atlanta. TMZ got a hold of the footage from the fight where it seemed as though Vicky got the best of Danielle. Baby later took to social media saying, anyone who says I got beat up is delusional. This girl ain't hit me one time. She grabbed my hair and somehow ended up on top of me. The whole time my face stayed untouched. Every normal
Oh,
person
yeah.
observing this situation
Badass.
is wondering why these girls are hanging out with nothing but grown men who are filming them while they physically assault each other.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have to be like some weak spine degenerate to just like stand behind these two basically kids just fighting. And then record it and send it to TMZ being like, oh my god, can you believe this? Like, it's just embarrassing. That's why I think it's a bad idea for kids to be famous in general, because they're always gonna be, they're gonna have to work with like grown-ups that even though are like older than them, are still like pieces of shit at heart. Probably have their own like twisted ambition to be popular, so record this video instead of just like stopping it, just so they can send it to like TMZ and just barely get any money out of it.
Danielle posted a video to Instagram wearing box braids. The conversation around her cultural appropriation finally needed to be discussed. People were noticing Danielle slowly transforming her image and accused her of blackfishing because she was sporting traditionally black hairstyles and even tanning/darkening her skin to a point where some people might even mistake her as non-white. This look Danielle is going for is now considered to be the beauty standard in pop culture. However, for the longest time, black people, specifically black women, were demonized and ridiculed for their hair, skin, AAV accent, and all other physical features that they were born with. Now that black women's natural features are being praised in our society, white women like Danielle can just put on a wig, tan their skin, get lip fillers and surgical procedures to reap all the benefits of being black,
pretty
but
funny.
also just transform back into being white whenever they want. Danielle addressed the criticism with an Instagram story. To all the black females that
wanna
are
see how
saying
she
my hair
responds.
ain't meant for box braids, guess what? Y'all hair ain't meant to be straight, but y'all glue wigs onto your heads and sew Brazilian, Indian, and Peruvian hair, which is anything like your natural hair texture. She then goes to deny the cultural appropriation and follow that up with, I love the way I look, plus your man agrees. And we all know I look fine AF with any hairstyle I do from any culture because I'm just that girl. I hope y'all bald-headed
I feel so bad for this guy because he has to bench like so many grooves for this goddamn text that just brain dead
It
typing.
just got worse.
I don't act black. I don't talking about who wants to be black. I don't understand that.
After this controversy, she remained pretty quiet until summer of 2020 when news broke that she entered a rehab facility at an undisclosed location where she'd received treatment for a combination of things, including childhood trauma and substance abuse in the form of prescription pills. Her management team told TMZ, "We are very proud of Danielle for recognizing that she needed help and seeking it out." Following her release from rehab, Danielle continued her journey of healing and self-development when she posted a YouTube video breaking her silence about the Turnabout Ranch.
Dr. Phil, I am going to give you from now till April 5th to issue an apology, not only to me, but to Hannah and any other child that
Oh, he must have been
Turnabout
bricks
or
over this
any program
statement.
like this, and if you don't, I'm gonna handle things my way.
Danielle had played the villain character her whole life, and now she was starting to gain sympathy from the internet. Danielle was inspired to share her story after a woman named Hannah Archuleta came forward a month earlier, claiming that she was sexually assaulted by a staff member at Turnabout Ranch. Hannah was also sent to the ranch by Dr. Phil in
I
2020.
feel like any place called that would instill
Turnabout
that
Ranch is one of the
animalistic
many
sexual
wilderness
lust in
programs that
you.
take place in rural Utah. If you watch my video about Chet Hanks, who was also sent to a Utah camp,
I love that face.
Netflix documentary Hell Camp, then you know all about the horrors of these programs. But if you don't know, wilderness therapy programs are a major part of the multi-billion-dollar troubled teen industry, which also includes therapeutic boarding schools and residential treatment centers. These programs are designed for adolescents.
The only thing I know about this industry is that there's one camp that made kids wipe their ass with stones. So that's the only landmark in my brain about this industry.
America to remove them from their privileges, then provide therapy and give them wilderness experiences like hiking, camping, or working on a ranch in hopes that it will allow them to recognize how good their home life actually is. However, these experiences mostly consist of doing manual labor for hours on end, and over the years there have been hundreds, thousands of reports of staff members abusing, hazing, humiliating, sleep depriving, sexually assaulting, drugging, and doing some of the most horrific things to these teenagers. Danielle experienced and witnessed similar horrors during her time there when she was just 13 years old. But the worst of all was witnessing a murder.
One morning I was cleaning up for breakfast, and one of the staff members was sitting right next to me, and she had her walkie on her, so I heard everything.
Dude, I would be so pissed if I was in the heavens and the only witness to my murder was Bad Baby.
Tried to steal a car or something. Everyone was screaming on the walkies like it was really crazy, and he ended up killing one of the staff members. They made all the kids that were at Roundy come down, and then they told us not to tell us anything. A day later, they have us all, every kid that's at Turnabout, they have us all sit in a circle, and they're like, listen, there was an incident, I know some of y'all heard it over the walkies, Jimmy died.
And you would think that with such appalling accusations that Dr. Phil would denounce the Turnabout Ranch.
We don't have anything to do with what happens with guests once they leave the stage.
The second they leave my show, I could not care less where they
He's
died.
in fact involved with the people he sends there after the show.
My mother signed a consent of release of information to send progress reports directly from Turnabout to the Dr. Phil show. So when you say you don't have any fucking feedback from them, that is not true.
Danielle added that she doesn't believe that Dr. Phil is unaware of what really happens behind closed doors at the ranch. Plus, a murder did take place at this ranch. You would think that at the very least Dr. Phil would stop recommending it as a precautionary measure, but he continues to praise the ranch.
We sent this young woman to
It's heaven online, you can't believe
is
it.
a very serious, responsible place for kids to go to get their values straight and get their heads on right. Try to be an emotional compass and point parents in a direction.
What fucking direction is that? Sexual abuse, murders, and fucking torture? That's the direction? Oh, that's phenomenal. Start your to-do list, parents. Have your kid watch somebody get murdered, have them get sexually assaulted, and have them get tortured. They'll come out great.
Even if Dr. Phil is innocent, maybe he should consider investigating these facilities before using his massive platform to endorse them, which is why people conspire that he might have some sort of financial interest that benefits him every time a child is sent to the camp. It was after this expose that the narrative...
Maybe, but I don't feel like that place is big enough to even make enough money to pay him off.
She was 13. Wow, this is 100% bad parenting on the mom's part. I feel like Danielle was wronged her whole life. Also, she was 13 years old, and to be judged and hated like this instead of loved and nurtured on national television, that's just setting her up. All this time I thought this child was crazy. Now I realized it's her mom. Despite Danielle reversing her reputation to the public, Bad Baby was broke. Nobody was interested in her music anymore. She had exhausted all of her antics to get attention, and she potentially burned bridges with people who could have helped her music career. Now she was only being seen as any other influencer on the internet. There was only one thing left to do to make a big bag. On April 1st, 2021, 6 days after her 18th birthday, Baby launched an OnlyFans account that earned over $1 million in revenue in the first 6 hours, including over $757,000.
I love how it was right after her birthday. Like she couldn't wait.
Message payments and $5,000 in tips. Less than a month later, Baby claimed that she racked in over $50 million on OnlyFans before showing off her newly purchased $6.1 million home in Florida that she allegedly bought in cash. People were initially suspicious until she posted an income report with the caption, "Go cry about it." The screenshot showed a gross income of $52 million, with Baby taking home a net income of over $42 million. The main realization that people had from this was just how many thousands, maybe millions of people who had sexualized this child since she initially showed her face on the internet.
I was about to say, you must have been some creep seeing her at the beginning and be like, I can't wait till she turns 18.
So long, right? Like with how they were making me dress and shit. And I was young.
It's so creepy.
It's creepy, but
It's funny at the same time, isn't it?
like I'm not one of them people that's like, oh no, pedophilia is fine as long as they're like a little bit older. Like no. I still think it's weird, but at the same time, 18 is 18, and that's what they said it was, so that's what they said it was.
Danielle fully realized that it was because of her young age and being sexualized during her youth that allowed
She
her
still
to
looks older in this
secure
clip than
such
she
a
does
large
now in
fortune.
that podcast.
The news came out about how much money you made.
She might be like the reincarnation of Benjamin Button, where she was born like as an ugly ass old man, but now she's getting
Inspired
younger.
millions of women around the world to try and do the same. Unfortunately, almost none of them will even have a fraction of the success that Danielle had. Danielle admits that she doesn't think this career path is 1 billion% okay, but she got rich off of it, so she was willing to justify it. Now at age 20, Danielle has secured generational wealth. She is done with the antics, done with the attention seeking, and done being made fun of on the internet. Now she is seemingly settling down with a man who is not famous, and they are expecting their first child in 2024. Through all her controversies and antics, most people thought that she would end up broke, alone, and regretting her choices. Instead, she ended up filthy rich and settled down with a family. They laughed at her, but it looks like she's the one who got the last laugh.
That's a good point. 50 million, even if it's from like the bottom of the barrel website as OnlyFans, that's a lot of money. Like she probably did come out with like the best outcome of any other person around her age and around that time. Like that girl, Whoa Vicky, like she was big enough for me to remember her name, but not know what she got famous off. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really think it matters like how famous you are, as long as you make some money out of it. Because fame, especially if you come out of nowhere, like you blow up, you can't really like rely on fame to last forever. So it's better to depend more on money, so then you can live like a good life after and not worry about like making new stuff over and over, like working with new people to maintain some time of still being famous when most people probably don't even care about you. Most of that stuff from between when she was like on the Dr. Phil show to present day, it was pretty cringy. But from the way he described it, if this is like really her last time of where she's gonna do anything to make money because of that OnlyFans thing, then that's alright. I mean, if she was willing to start OnlyFans, she would probably done way worse stuff to make some more money. But if she's willing to save it and not blow it away out of nowhere, I mean, that mansion in Florida looks like it costed quite a bit. But if she is dedicated to like save the money and, you know, start a family with the new guy she met, then, you know, that's alright. But of course, that's only covering her career. I can't say much on how that family's gonna turn out, because if your entire character is just starting fights with everyone, can't ensure your kid's gonna turn out the best. But she does seem to have like some small talent on turning something from nothing to something big, like with Korea. Like one single line from that Dr. Phil show, Catch Me Outside, how about that? That caused a big enough domino effect to lead where she is now. So maybe like within 2024, basically this year or next year when that kid comes out, and nobody turns out like a horrible kid by the age of 4 or 5, that could give you some hope that they're gonna turn out like their mom, you know, have something effect. Surely that would carry over, you know, through genes. That'd be nice.